Good afternoon and welcome to Brewing. I'm your host. My name's Scott Leffler, and we're talking turkey today. Well, turkey and politics. Mostly politics, a little bit of turkey. You'll get to the turkey thing later. Let's start with politics. It is Monday, November 19th. Yes, 2012. And this week I will do a show on Monday, I will do a show on Tuesday, I will do a show on Wednesday, and I will do a show on Friday. But I'm taking Thanksgiving off because I have to make dinner. And that will take some time, and it's a holiday, and I don't like working holidays. And although this is fun, the goal is that this be work. Like, I try to think of this as a job, which is why I do it every day instead of whenever the hell I damn please. Although, to be honest with you, I do please to do it. I had Thanksgiving dinner yesterday with my girlfriend's family, and it was freaking awesome. Here's the thing. All the Thanksgiving side dishes. Now, all right, if you're familiar with me, if you've followed me for a while, you know that I don't like Thanksgiving. In fact, I did a show once for Thanksgiving about the fact that I hate Thanksgiving. With the assumption, the belief that a lot of people actually hate Thanksgiving. Turns out I was wrong. I'm the only one. One of my biggest problems with Thanksgiving is turkey. I just don't like turkey. I don't like it. I like chicken. I like fish. I love ham. I like steaks. I like burgers. I like lobster and crab and all sorts of other fun things, but I don't like turkey. Just never have. I don't know. People say, well, you haven't had it cooked right. I've had it cooked a bunch of different ways, including deep fried and all that fun stuff. And no, I don't like turkey. A turkey sandwich once in a while I can do. But to sit down and be like, ooh, look, turkey, I just don't do that. However, I love mashed potatoes. I love stuffing. I like green beans. I like the cranberry sauce, but not the sauce, the stuff that comes out of a can that goes and like it's still the shape of the can. I love that stuff. I like deviled eggs. I like a variety of pies. Um, I like rolls. Pretty much I like all of Thanksgiving dinner except the turkey. So, uh, dinner yesterday at my girlfriend's father's, and we had all of those things, not the deviled eggs, but that's okay. I'm having deviled eggs on Thursday. We had all of those things except where there should have been, could have been, would have been turkey. Where there was turkey last year, there was ribs. I was excited. Very excited. They were tasty ribs. I was really happy. Everybody was happy. We ate for a while, and then we went and sat on the couch and watched football and sort of napped. So it was a good time had by all. Thank you. So I'm hosting Thanksgiving dinner this Thursday, and I will be cooking. I will be cooking your standard Thanksgiving fare. Green beans and mashed potatoes. I don't like green bean casserole. Some people love the green bean casserole with like the soupy stuff and the onions. I don't get it. I don't like it. No, but I like regular green beans. So we'll probably have mashed potatoes and green beans. I have to make the mashed potatoes without milk, um, which should be okay. I do that a lot. Uh, Heather can't have milk, so she has a milk allergy. She's allergic to food pretty much, but she's primarily, well, not primarily. One of these things she's very allergic to is milk. So, green beans, mashed potatoes, and turkey. I am cooking a turkey. And I've cooked turkey before. I'm a good turkey cooker, in my opinion. I make it about as well as anybody can make a turkey. Um, Mashed potatoes and turkey. Oh, and deviled eggs. I really like deviled eggs. So, so anyway, Thanksgiving was yesterday. It's also Thursday. So on Thursday, I'm not going to be doing a show because I'm going to be here in my kitchen slaving away over a hot stove or something like that. I hope that there isn't actually much slaving away. But so that's my plans for the week. Oh, we had a great weekend. We had a birthday party on Friday. We went to a fight on Saturday. There's pictures of the fight on my Picasso album. If you go to my website, Google Scott Leffler. If you go to my website, you'll find my Picasso album of the fight night that we went to here in Lockport. Was lots and lots of fun. Great seats. Thanks to Amer Abdallah who gave us the seats, and thanks to Johnny D'Onofrio, the sports editor at my paper, for helping me out with that. And then we did Thanksgiving. Like, we had a jam-packed weekend. It was good times. And I caught up on some TV. I caught up on Grimm, which I was a few episodes behind on. I caught up on... What else did I catch up on? No, I was already caught up on that. I feel like I caught up on 2 shows, but I can only remember one of them. I don't know. I still have to catch up on American Horror Story. Do you watch that? It is freaky. I don't recommend it for everyone, but it's good. It's fun. It's good, clean, fun. Not clean. It's weird. It's weird. But, so anyway. Long story short, hi, how are you? My name's Scott. Let's talk about politics. Nate Silver. Now, Nate Silver is already talking about 2014. Now, at least he's not talking about 2016 yet. Coffee, by the way. I'm brewing. Nate Silver is already talking about 2014. And I guess if you're Nate Silver, you can do whatever the hell you want to. I don't really want to get into this too much, but I do want to point out some things that he says, which I find interesting and compelling, primarily because he's Nate Silver, and he's my geeky man crush. So he's already talking about 2014, and he says the Democrats are unlikely to retake the House of Representatives. Now, to those people watching the election, you see, well, there's this Democratic tide, and we picked up seats, and blah, blah, blah. Silver says history is against you, and the odds of Democrats retaking the House are low based on historical data. I like to base things on historical data. I usually find that it is reasonable to assume certain outcomes based on previous scenarios. I guess I'm an odds man. So Nate Silver says, based on historical data, the Democrats are unlikely to retake the House in 2014. Now, the Democrats currently have the presidency with Obama's win, which we'll talk about a little bit later in the show. And they still hold the Senate. They actually picked up a couple seats in the Senate. So it looks like the Democrats are strengthening. But he says, give it 2 years, they'll lose some oomph. They picked up 8 seats on Election Day. The Democrats did. They had 193. Now they have 201. They need 218 for the majority in the House, so they need to pick up 17 more seats still. However, despite the current trends, which appear to be leftward leaning, Silver says that midterm elections tend to go to the party that doesn't control the White House. If you think about this, you think about Bill Clinton, you think about George Bush, you think about a variety of times. Actually, Bill Clinton and George Bush aren't the best scenarios. But you think about Obama's first term, the midterm election, Republicans picked up seats. You think about Clinton's first term, in 94, Republicans just swooped in and overtook everything. So historically, the party that doesn't have the White House picks up seats in the off year. In fact, on average, since World War II, the majority party, and I say majority party, defining that as the party that holds the White House, has lost 26 House seats in the midterm election. Only twice since World War II has the majority party picked up seats in the midterm. Those were in 1998 and 2002. So they're both recent. That's kind of interesting. Silver doesn't really take that into account. I guess maybe 2002 isn't recent. In my mind, it is. If I can remember it, it's recent. When you talk about the history of the country, if I can remember it, it's recent. But those are the only 2 times in the past, 70 some odd years that the majority party has picked up seats in the House in the midterm. So it looks like Democrats are going to have a rough road, although we'll have to see. And there are variables in play that haven't been in play before. For example, the Tea Party. Now, we've talked a couple times about the Tea Party's role in the election and the fact that I personally believe that the Tea... Why am I so shiny? I don't like being so shiny. I'm not oily. I'm very dry, in fact. Actually, my house is real. I need a humidifier here. Or I could just, constantly boil a pot of water. I could do that, but I don't like that idea. That's how fires happen. So, the Tea Party is still vying for control of the GOP, and they're pretty much out there stumping and saying, look, if we had been more conservative, we would have done better. If we had followed the Tea Party ideals, we would have done better, et cetera, et cetera. Talk show host Mark Levin, he fills in for Sean Hannity every once in a while. He's kind of a jerk, in my opinion. Talk show host Mark Levin says, and I'm quoting here, the Tea Party is the only thing that stands between liberty and tyranny. Dramatic much, Mark? He says, we have to defeat the Republican establishment mush in Washington, D.C. So he's actually calling for a revolution, if you will, within the Republican Party. And I've mentioned that this is a strong possibility. Now, I believe that the Republican establishment, by which I mean moderate Republicans, although I'm not entirely sure that that is the establishment. I kind of feel like the Tea Party folks are the establishment. I'm not sure. But the moderate Republicans, I believe, are going to overtake the party over the course of the next 2 years. But Levin is saying, no, the Tea Party needs to take over the Republican Party. Now, this ties into the whole Democratic control of the House because inner strife within the GOP helped out a lot in this election. And I think that if they continue to fight with one another, it will help the Democrats out in the next election as well. So we'll have to see what happens. But I find it really, really interesting. I think that a right turn by the GOP would be bad for them unless, and this is a big unless the climate of the country changes. Because no matter what the Tea Party folks say, we are not a right-center country. There was a time not too long ago when we were, and they overplayed their hand. Overplaying your hand is always a bad thing. Always a bad thing. Democrats are famous for overplaying their hands. I can't get this to stay down. I don't like it at all. I'm excited because this shirt fits me, and it didn't used to, but I can't get the collar to stay down. So, anyway. A lot of clothes fit me that didn't used to. I like that. It's a good trend. 176 yesterday, 177 today. I put on a pound because of the ribs. But I do weigh myself every day. They say that that's bad, but I disagree. I think that if you weigh yourself at the same time and under the same circumstances every day, it seems to be pretty legit. I don't bounce around 5 pounds here and there as long as, again, I weigh myself at the same time of day. And under the same circumstances. So I think that if you weigh yourself like when you get out of the shower in the morning and then like the next day you weigh yourself after dinner, you're going to have huge discrepancies. But if you always weigh yourself when you get out of the shower in the morning, which is what I do, one, you always weigh less in the morning. So I like that. Two, you weigh less without clothes on. So that's the way I go. I shower naked and then I weigh myself. And then I don't always write it down, but I do remember. So 176 yesterday, 177 today. I sound like Rain Man there, don't I? Definitely 170. All right, so we are not a right-of-center country. And to illustrate this, more Nate Silver. In the general election a couple weeks ago, whatever the hell that was, 29 states shifted to the left. There were 29 states that had they changed their vote just slightly to the left. Well, some just slightly, a couple by a lot. 2 by a lot. Alaska, and I think that Alaska is because there were a lot less votes. We talked about Alaska last week, and I mentioned that 330,000 people voted in Alaska in 2004, primarily, I assume, because Sarah Palin was on the ticket. This time, only 220,000 people voted in Alaska. That's a 1/3 drop in votes. But apparently most of those voters, or a large percentage of those voters at the very least, were Republican voters who decided not to turn out this time. Maybe they thought it was pointless. I don't know. Keep in mind, Alaska doesn't even start voting until much of the country is done voting. So they may kind of feel useless. Hawaii does the same thing. I think it's funny that Alaska is very red and Hawaii is very blue. I don't know, one of those weird things. So Alaska shifted very much to the left by, I want to say it was 19 points. I don't have the stat in front of me, but I want to say it was like 19 points. Alaska shifted to the left. New Jersey also shifted heavily to the left, which I think is interesting because New Jersey is blue to begin with. So the fact that they shifted to the left, they're even bluer. And I can only attribute this to the storm. Now, we talked last week about, the fact that, Hurricane Sandy, according to Mitt Romney, Bill Clinton told him that Hurricane Sandy won the election for Obama. I don't buy that for a second, but that's what has been alleged. I do, however, think that it did affect the vote, and I think that Hurricane Sandy contributed to the higher Democratic vote in New Jersey. I also think that the way that Governor Christie, by the way, did you see Governor Christie on Saturday Night Live the other night? He was actually quite funny. I rather enjoyed it. Good episode of Saturday Night Live. I think that Governor Christie's handling of Sandy and his handling of Obama's handling of Sandy had to have helped out when it came to leftward votes. So Alaska shifted very much to the left. New Jersey shifted about 6 points to the left, which is a significant shift still. 21 states overall shifted to the right, led by Utah, which shifted about the same as Alaska. I want to say it was 19 points to the right. And West Virginia, which was more in the New Jersey range, 6, 7, 8 points, something like that, to the right. So more states went leftward, but overall there was little discrepancy. But the discrepancy that there was unique and slightly overall to the left. So again, that gets back to the whole House thing. We appear to be moving left. And as we get more Black and Hispanic votes, we're going to continue to move even further left, although historical data says otherwise. All right, let's talk turkey. This is kind of fun. When I used to have my talk show on WECK, which is a radio station in Cheektowaga, New York, I had a talk show on WLVL for 7 years. I also had a talk show on WECK for a year or so. I don't recall exactly how long I was on there. It was kind of a pain in the ass, to be completely honest with you, because for a while I had to drive to Cheektowaga every day, and then speed my ass off from Cheektowaga to Lockport in order to get on the radio in Lockport. And I would frequently do the first part of the show like via phone, and then it turned out that I could do both shows from Lockport via this connection thing that worked sometimes and didn't sometimes. It was, to be honest with you, it was kind of a pain in the ass. I enjoyed being on air in Cheektowaga. I lived out there for a time being in West Seneca, so it helped a little bit with name recognition, I guess. But while I was there, I had a producer by the name of Frank Miller, good guy, and on a somewhat regular basis, he and I would talk about the bird war. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the bird war, please familiarize yourself, because it's real. It is a real thing. Here's the basics. The birds hate us for our freedoms. They hate the fact that we can fly now, and as a result, they attack us. Now, the movie The Birds, Hitchcock's The Birds. By the way, have you seen the preview for the movie Hitchcock? I think it looks great. I'm kind of excited about seeing it, although not nearly as excited as I am about seeing World War Z. Heather, you have 6 months to prepare. I want to take my girlfriend, but she doesn't like those types of movies, so I'm trying to prepare. I'm trying to get her jazzed up for it. Maybe I should have her read the book first, although I'm told the movie and the book are very different. Anyway, doesn't matter. Bird War. The movie The Birds, some people think it was a documentary. In fact, it was based on a true story, believe it or not. And there have been many theories about what happened, but the leading theory is that the birds got into something, and it basically just pissed them off, and so they started attacking people. Did you know that The Birds was based on a true story? It really is. Look it up. And so the birds just started attacking people, and then it got out of their system, and everything was okay. But it could happen again at any time. So there's also this theory, and this theory is mine, me being the extraordinary scientist that I am. There's this theory that occasionally the birds just get pissed off and attack us. Now, I say it's because they hate us for our freedoms. I guess that's kind of picking on the whole terrorism thing. Maybe you shouldn't pick on terrorism, but I do. I really don't care what other people think. So the birds occasionally, and it seems to happen a lot to me. I actually have a Google News thing set for this that checks every day, and almost every single day I get an email with stories about birds attacking people, and it happens all over the country, and all over the world for that matter, but most of the ones that I get are from the United States. Well, it happened the other day, and this one's kind of funny. This time of year, there are always turkey attacks. Running low on coffee. That's right. This is my last topic, and then I can refuel. Um, this time of year, it always seems as though there are turkey attacks, and I guess that's probably because there are turkeys out now, which is why we eat turkey for Thanksgiving. Because they're in abundance, and they get angry and they come and attack us, and so we shoot them and then we cook them. That's very human to do. It's something that attacks you, you shoot it and eat it. Turkeys, not people. So there's this story out of New Hampshire from the other day about this teacher who had been attacked. He got attacked by turkeys on Halloween while getting into his car after school. I mean, there was a South Park episode about this, wasn't there? Wasn't there a South Park episode where turkeys attacked people? Anyway, this happened in New Hampshire. This guy's getting into his car. Turkeys attack him. Now, this dude is 129 pounds, according to the story, and was literally afraid for his life because turkeys are nasty. They're not pleasant at all. I've never been attacked by a turkey. I have been attacked by birds on a few occasions, actually. I think it's because I'm out here talking about the bird war and they're trying to stop me. But turkeys attacked this guy, and so he got into his car and closed the door, and oh my God, what the hell? So then it happened again just a few days ago, where dude's getting into his car, and the turkeys are like, and they're trying to attack him. So he gets into his car before the turkeys can attack him, and he rolls his window down, and he films it. There's all these turkeys doing this, whatever it is that turkeys do, trying to get into his car, trying to eat him, because they're nasty little beings. And it's on YouTube. And so I put a link on my Twitter to this YouTube video, and you have to watch it because it's either scary or hilarious, or hilariously scary. But you'd have to watch it for yourself. It's on my Twitter, twitter.com/Scott Leffler, /Scott Leffler. And it's a few stories down because I found this story on Friday and put it up then. So maybe you've already seen it. If you do follow me on Twitter and click on the links, like I hope you would. But if you haven't, you have to watch this video. There are a ton of bird war stories, and now that we're past election season, I'm going to start mixing them into the show because it's really important that you see what's going on with the birds, that the fact that they hate us for our freedom, and the fact that we have to be vigilant and protect ourselves against these horrible, horrible, horrible creatures. They take planes out of the sky. They attack pets. They attack people. People end up in hospitals. It's really ugly. It's a nightmare, and it's one that I hope that we can live through. So there you go. That's my show for today. We talked turkey and we talked politics. Do me a favor, follow me on Twitter @Scott Leffler. Respond during the show, and I will get it during the show, and then I can respond back to you and say, hey, this is what I think. So there you go. Tomorrow, I'll be back, probably talking more politics. Maybe another bird war story. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you then. Bye.